John, with the benefit of time to look at the tape this morning and everything you've broken down, last night you basically said not a lot to analyze. We were just flat. Is that your evaluation?
I haven't looked at a second of that tape.
Are you not going to?
No. That answer your question?
Yes, it does.
How do you think Morgan's responded these last couple of games since he's got
Okay.
just okay? Yeah.
Okay.
You know, you've got 12 forwards in the roster right now. Is there a plan to call up anybody for tomorrow's game?
Not for tomorrow's game. But that, like I said last night, we'll see how this plays out and see if guys respond with their time, and we'll make the call then, but not tomorrow night.
Yes, you know, is it, as a coach, do you like having some spare bodies because there's more internal competition on a day-to-day basis, or not?
They know there's internal competition because Lehigh's right down the street. It's one of the things great about our situation. We can get them right away, and they know there's they know.
John, I know we've talked ad nauseum about the power play, but they were out there like 20 minutes early working on things with Rocky. Is that all Rocky right there, getting them out there? And I appreciate that they're getting out there trying to figure things out.
Rocky's trying to figure it out with them. Yeah, they have not stopped working at trying to figure it out. They'll continue, and that's all you can do. You know, we can complain about it and this and talk about the numbers. Each and every day they're trying to get better and see what happens.
Do you ever have some good teams in the past that maybe struggled on the power play, did other things well, but struggled in the power play and stayed with it? Yeah.
I remember a long way back in my Tampa days, we had some struggles there, and players want to. It's one thing about our athletes; they want to get better. They want to practice and get better. They know. Our power play guys know it's been a letdown. They don't like that feeling, so they want to work at it. They're very receptive.
Going to, we're obviously a quarter of the way through the year. I think there was an expectation that it was going to take Sean Couturier some time to, get back in the swing of things after missing a year and a half due to injury. Where do you think his game is at now after a quarter of the season?
Yeah, he needs more time. Again, I can't. I wasn't with him every day when he was healthy and going about it prior to 2 years ago. I still think it's going to take more time. I think it's going to take time for Cam. I think Cam has struggled after missing a year, and Coots is too, with a back, major operations. I think he relies on his savvy, just being a great pro to get him moving here, but there's some work to be done, and we expected this, so we'll let him go at his pace. And I try to work and trying to limit his minutes. Sometimes I just don't get there. I just need him, but there's still quite a bit of work to do there.
The team seems to have generated more scoring chances off the rush compared to last year, like connected goal last night.
Mm-hmm.
What do you kind of attribute that to? Is it more creativity or more confidence?
Well, one of the biggest things we've done right from the beginning of this year is stress our transition as far as taking chances, stretching the zone, leaving the zone early. We've ended up with a lot of odd man and breakaways by just leaving the zone early. It's a style of play, and we're going to stick with it. I think if we can stick with this, as far as this quick transition and taking a chance and leaving, trying to find open ice, as we get better, as we go through this year and maybe next year, and maybe more skill is added, I think it can be a very dangerous situation as far as scoring. I think it's one of the biggest positives that we've had this year is how quickly they have adapted to playing fast offensively. I think it puts pressure on the other team. Even if we don't make the play, we're on the team anyway. We're on top of them. So it's been one of the more encouraging parts of our game this year.
As the third period progressed, I don't know if this was all Bradshaw or if you were involved, how this works in terms of decision making, but you guys shortened the bench a little bit in terms of the derotation.
Yeah.
You went with 4 with Sanheim, Walker, you were Bristol line. Is that pretty much just looking at it and saying these are our 4 best offense generators?
Trying to get some offense, trying to get that next goal. Yeah, shorten it up, and didn't work, but that was the philosophy there.
How much do you want to maybe see Cam York back on the power play to you know, it seems like that's maybe his future is power play quarterback.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Cam's going to get some power play time, but Cam is he's done a really good job on the other side of the puck, defending his stick, his legs. But we're gonna put him back. It's not working. We're gonna give him another chance there. But I don't want to lose the part of his game that's kind of propelled him into really playing top 2 minutes, playing against the best people. His offense, I'm not sure where it goes. I think people think that's what he is. I look at him as a guy that's really played well defensively and is positioned, can use his legs, his first pass. But he is certainly going to get another look here on the power play because it struggles so bad.
That's got to be the more important point for a defenseman like him is get that defensive foundation.
Yeah. And I'm hoping he brings offense, but I think his calling in this league is going to be that guy. To me, I was up in the air as far as where does he, because I didn't like his last quarter last year. And I'm still trying to figure going into this year, is he an NHLer? Or is he ready to be an NHLer? I think he has shown us in the first quarter that he can play in this league and play top minutes, not by putting up a bunch of points, but playing that way. Sticks, he has good stick. He's willing to block shots. He has showed us that this first quarter. And I've been impressed with him that way. So I think we got to be really careful what we think he is, because then it could lose the other part of it.
Is there an element too? Because we talked about this last year with Noah in particular about how he was getting played higher maybe in the lineup than you envision him being when this thing plays out in the future. I don't think you guys know one way or the other where York is going to fall in the future, but like, is there an element of kind of grading him on a curve a little bit because he's getting top pair minutes? He's getting so many minutes against top lines.
Yeah, the thing I want to have, I want him just to keep playing in those situations. I think when you get into late December, early January, that's when you really find out about teams and players, who they are. So I just want him in it. I want him in those important minutes, and really not for the offensive part of it. I'm not sure if that is going to be when you say Cam York is. I don't think it's going to be that. I think it's going to be a guy that can get some offense to you, but is going to be a really good defender through positioning, his legs, and his stick. So we'll see where it goes.
Is that kind of a rarity? Because I mean, you look at him; he came up as more of an offense producer. He's a smaller guy. He's not going to be a physical guy. Can he turn into a defensively oriented?
Who gave him the coin that he's an offensive guy? Who did?
I think that was just his MO when he got drafted, was that he was a point producer.
Well, I don't know what his points were.
He was on that really good power play of the US NDDP. And I think the expectation in terms of the scouting community was that if he's going to make it, he's going to be a power play guy and an offensively oriented defenseman.
I'm not sure what his points were. Do you guys know what his points were in that, or
his draft year? I think he had the most points by a US defenseman in that program that year.
Yeah,
but I'm wouldn't surprise me if someone broken that.
Well, again, I'm not trying to pigeonhole him, but I think we got to be really careful, because I think, especially at that position, you start coining him that guy. Let's let it play out and see where it goes. We certainly don't want him to. And you know me, I want him to try to make a difference, and I think he's done that. I've been really impressed with him as how he's defended and just he's there and his willingness to block shots this year. Well, let's start there and then see what happens.
You got Dan Boyle a little bit, right? Like he was kind of a late bloomer.
Yeah. And then Danny Boyle turned in one of the best competitors I've ever coached, and turned into a guy that was crazy up the ice and brought the offense. Is York that? I don't know. But when I first got Danny, I wanted Danny to defend, because he was basically almost out of the league because he just had no clue how to defend. And I made a deal with him. You defend and you can do whatever the hell you want offensively. And he turned into, which he does not get enough credit for, he turned in one of all the players I've coached. He was top 2 or 3 as far as a competitor. And no one talks about that with him.
You talked about Couturier and Atkinson maybe needing a little more time to get up to speed here. Talking about Mark Stahl and Ristolainen, they've been off for a block of times, and think they need a little more time to.
Yeah. I think Risto's played well the amount of time he's missed. Stalsey, it's been, for an older guy, that injury and coming back, there's been some struggles a little bit as far as the pace. He still gets in the way. It'll take some time. But Risto, I'm encouraged on how Risto has played. He's made some mistakes along the way, which everybody does, but I'm really encouraged the amount of time that he's missed to come right in and get those minutes and do the things he's done.
Thank you.
Thanks.